Right. Good afternoon to the folks on stream. Welcome to today's session. My name is Sherman, and today we'll be looking a little bit in the Eurozone and the upcoming flash PMIs. Okay, for those of you who are not familiar with the PMIs, it is the purchasing manager index. We're going to talk a little bit more about that at the start, and then we will dive into the technical analysis. Okay, my name is Sherman. I'm an FX strategist, and I specialize in technical analysis. All right, is the echo better? Is the echo gone? Can you just let me know if there is any audio issues? I'll just mute it for now. Okay, quick disclaimer, trading any forms of derivatives, including CFDs, it's carries significant risk, so do ensure you fully understand what you're doing before you make any trading decisions. Okay. For those of you who are new to the Vantage platform, right now, if you put in your first deposit, you get up to $500 credit for your first $1,000, and any subsequent deposits gets you additional 10%. Okay. So as always, we're going to look at the fundamentals first, then we will dive into the charts. Okay, I'll try and go quickly through the fundamentals, macro stuff, so that we can analyze more of the multi-time frame analysis on the euro dollar. All right, so PMI is your purchasing managers index. So that kind of usually we look at two things. One is the bias, in which we look at the CPI, how much are people willing to spend in an economy, and purchasing managers index would be on the supply side, where are companies or factories increasing their purchases to produce more goods and services for the economy. Okay, so if there is a high PMI, which means that the euro economy is strong, then you'll probably see euro appreciating against the euro dollar, against the dollar. But if PMI falls, then that can be a signal that the economy is slowing down and dollar may be favored over the euro. Okay, so PMIs is broken down into two key areas: services as well as manufacturing, so goods and services, and then a composite that makes up both of these components. Okay, so the values ranges from 0 to 100, usually around 51, around 50. That is a sort of like a healthy growth rate. So this 51 composite PMI is the 11th month high, so that's marking 7 consecutive months of expansion in terms of the Eurozone. And a lot of that is due to the fact that there are additional tariffs imposed into the US, and therefore, when it's more expensive to buy or supplying goods to the US, then you'll be looking at second, third largest economy in the world, the Eurozone, China, India, as well as these emerging markets in Southeast Asia, as well as South America. Okay, so June versus July, you can see all of it increasing. Okay, so we're probably going to look at, probably want to see this continuing down this year to see a strengthening of the euro against the dollar. Okay, so euro is made up of many countries. So the biggest economies in the eurozone right now, just take note that Great Britain has left the eurozone. So the two biggest economy, Germany as well as France, right? They are the ones that are holding up the entire eurozone. Okay, but collectively right now you can see that the rest of the eurozone they are seeing the strongest growth or the highest amount of in terms of improvements in both manufacturing and services. Okay, so these are the paths that are shown, pretty straightforward, but with the help of Gemini, you can actually see from time to time a good reminder on what the PMI data release will affect the Eurozone. So if it is bullish, then you'll probably see Euro moving up. Nothing too fanciful there. And then if the PMI data falls more than expected, then you'll probably see a bearish on the euro dollar. Okay, so yeah, some pretty straightforward potential scenarios here. Okay, if anything below 50, that would be a very surprise. If it's between 50.5 to 51, that's in line with the expectations. Anything above 51.5, that would bullishness on the euro dollar. Okay, so if you guys do not have any questions on this basically a very straightforward macro report by Gemini, and if you run it right now in Gemini itself, you will be able to see the full report generated. Yeah. Okay. For those of you um, who thinks that the infographic is a little too simple, and the text is a little too long, okay, there are a few things that you can do. Take a quick um, digression here. Okay, so right now, if you go under Copilot, okay, you should be able to click on this Talk to Copilot if you're using Microsoft Edge. If not, you can actually use Gemini to actually summarize all of this. And basically click on this tool here.
I'm responding now with on.
Right, so basically you can ask the Copilot to do a summary of this report generated by Gemini and give me a concise summary of this report.
The report dives into how flash PMIs, key economic indicators, affect the euro. It outlines the link between the PMI data and investor sentiment, the European Central Bank's policy, and the euro's movements. The report notes that while the PMI hints at economic growth, it's fragile and influenced by temporal.
All right, so you get the gist of it. You can actually get an audio summary of the report by the Copilot. So it'd be great if you guys are using all of these AI tools to actually help you with analysis, because then you can get to a conclusion much faster. And then when you get into your charts, you should be able to come up with your analysis pretty quickly. Okay. So euro dollar, this will be the first time we are looking at euro dollar. We did a couple of analysis previously on daily. Okay, so what are key things that we are looking out for? As always, you want to use something to help you mark out certain levels. The one that we're using is called Wayne's Pivot. Okay, but just right off the bat, okay, we want to be looking at this key level here. Okay, and for those of you who are familiar with market structures, okay, this was the break of that structure. Again, this is on the daily time zone. So as it breaks down below, okay, what we want to look for is the last bunch of buyers that created a bullish daily move up to this level, and we want to see if there are buyers coming in at this point in time. So it has held pretty tightly along this level. So in the short term, because of the continuation of this structure here, okay, so it came up here, it couldn't make a higher high into this area. And again, this is R1 generated by your pivot points, okay. Okay, so R1 is shown here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this a little, mark out this lines, okay, so that it's much clearer. So R1 is here, and you can see how it has rejected that. And whenever we're on a daily, Wayne's pivot will automatically bring us to the monthly pivot, okay? So we have broken below this on Tuesday. Okay, so as we are coming down here, this is basically telling us that this will be, right? Bears are in control. We are not able to find bias above this level here. Okay, no one is bullish on the euro dollar above this level. Okay, so this becomes that near-term support. But if it breaks below, continuing this downward move, then our target would probably be the lows of the start of this month. Okay, otherwise, if you're bullish, we want to see price break above this area here, and more critically, the start of this downward move. As and when we are able to break above this level, it means that buyers are willing to buy at a premium price, and that would basically give us that indication that we will be moving up to R2 and 4 this month. Okay, so using your pivot points, okay, this is your entry. So this is not anything that is surprising. Okay, if you end last month at the low, again, your pivot points, this middle line here, is the average of last month's high, low, and close, right? And if your the closing price and the low of last month is the same, you're going to start the new month at M2, which is right at where we consider this as the discounted zone. Okay, this is where we usually do our analysis, and we want to look at an entry just below the pivot and above M2, and then our target will be R2, M4. Okay, so we're making our way there, even though this break below this level at 1.1660, right? We potentially want to see, okay, we are, again, on the daily, we are bullish, but we potentially want to see the break of this area here, okay? And if you use your FIB tool, Fibonacci tool, and you measure this key point here in the middle as your middle point, okay, you can actually estimate above this high, okay, this is the low that's formed. If we move back up to this level and it breaks above this level, okay, and if you miss this move here because you think that it's on a downward trajectory, okay, you will be able to get a same amount of magnitude from this retest up into the target for the month of August. Okay, otherwise, if you're following just the price action from the last 2 days, okay, we are in fact bearish. Okay, so that is more prominent when we go down to that weekly time frame. Okay, so the weekly time frame right now, we are following this. So breaking above this high here will mean that the target would be this area. And again, because of how fractal this geometrically fractal price action here, okay, you can see that if you use the FIB retracement from this low all the way up to this high here that led to this low, okay, 50% of it, you can see that if you do not partake in this move, breaking above this will give you the same magnitude that you missed out before we probably see more sellers coming in. How do we know this area is going to be an area of selling? Okay, right? Sellers came in once, retested, sellers came in again. So 2 iterations where sellers came in and buyers were not able to make a higher low. So once you get down to this, it broke even lower. As it comes back up, you don't see any buyers above this level already. Okay, so the most premium area for this week would be this area here. And if we do get, in fact, if we break above this downward channel, then we can wait for the retest and then target this area before. Okay. Otherwise, if we do not break this, then the tendency would be to follow this trend down all the way into this area again. Okay. But if we're just looking at the weekly, I think what we can actually achieve from this week, if the continuation of this bearish move to the downside, we were targeting M1, S2. Okay, so this is slightly above your weekly entry. Okay, but your monthly entry. But this is again the weekly pivot. Okay, so that fail swing to a higher high gives us the indication that if we were to sell off, this would be the target. Okay, so before we look at the session's information there, okay, we're gonna look at that daily. So daily is slightly above, so we'll probably not see too much of a strong move today. Okay, again, PMI is here. Oh wait, oh wait. When is our PMI for the Eurozone? FOMC minutes, manufacturing PMI. So UK S&P, this again, this is UK at 430. Huh. Okay, so the PMI is probably okay, you can filter this by what would this be? Business. Right? So this is for Germany. Oh, this is probably the one that we're looking at, 330. Okay. So the actual was 49.9 for Germany. Right? But there is one coming up for UK as well. So Euro and UK very tightly knotted economies. So this is going to have an impact at 430 as well. Okay, so this is probably the 330 news. Okay, so 330 news gave us that bullish push up. So I think people will kind of, I mean, the market was kind of looking at this as a good news for Euro. If you just want to compare that with pound dollar as well. Okay, not so much of a big move, but for euro dollar, you saw this sell off at 2 o'clock, and then right at 3 o'clock, it pushed back up. Okay, so for us to actually continue this bullish move, we potentially do not want to see price break below this area here. And if it does move up in the next 1 or 2 hours, then we will probably see this as a sweep. This entire area as a sweep, and then target will be above here. Okay, in any case, if it falls below, okay, which means this was news induced, but just to grab additional liquidity, we probably wouldn't see 100% move to the downside. We'll probably see something like this, all right? Okay. Retaking this again, and this was the New York session yesterday. Retaking this level before moving downwards. Okay, so we do not need the pivot points. We can look at our sessions data. So a range in Asia for your euro dollar came down, did not quite sweep this, okay? This Asia low on Wednesday. Okay, so if we want to go up higher, we should be looking at this move up right now, or it comes down, grab additional liquidity before moving up. Okay. So it's a bit of a conflict in terms of analysis because overall on the higher time frames, we are looking at a downward move, but the news event created this push to upside. So market was positive on this move up. Okay, this move up. Okay, and expected because it's 48.8 forecast previously was 49.1, so they were expecting a drop in PMI for Germany. But instead it went up 0.8 points, giving that bullish expectations. Okay, so this might be news induced only, so kind of need to wait a couple more minutes and then see if this does in fact cause us to move down to a lower low. Okay, so once that 1 hour, okay, 1 hour again, you have a sort of a failed double bottom. Okay, so what we want to see is we want this high to be taken. That means any sellers who came in yesterday, right? We want those levels to be taken out, right? And then we'll be looking for this and then a move. We need a confirmation like this before we start to look for buys. Cool. If you're looking to sell again at this level, and it does in fact break above, you can probably average down this too because it's still a downtrend. You'll still be able to recover if you were looking to dollar cost average into this trade here. And of course, once you break even, then that move up, you'll be looking for longs. Okay, so overall, are we bullish or are we bearish on the euro dollar? Okay, we will not be bearish. Okay, this is on the weekly. We want this to be taken because the high was created from this low here. But if you're looking on that daily, then we are looking at short-term weakness because this high here was created from this low here. And we kind of swiped into this level. So at most, we're looking for a range. So a double top and then a move down. So it seems to me over the long term, mid to long term, we are trying to be looking at this level here again. Okay, this level basically told us that there's a shift in a long-term outlook of the euro dollar. Okay, so I will be looking at shorts opportunities rather than longs. Okay, analysis is probably the same. Okay, this low, it got broken. It broke down again. And so as we come back, this is acting as a resistance. So the sad thing about this is that if you're looking to sell, you're looking to sell down to this level, okay, a lot of liquidity has been built up around this area here. So we might not know if buyers were to come in due to news or some fundamental reasons, okay, this might create a very bullish or squeeze up to the 1.183 level. Okay, so in short, if you're looking for a signal today, Okay, just looking for an entry today. Okay, I'm gonna watch out for this level, and then I'm gonna watch out for this level here. This is if you're looking for shorts. So right now we are not in shorts. Okay. We're probably going to be taking a short-term scalp to the upside. In fact, if this hour we closes bullish, okay, as long as we're not in a black candle, it can even be a wick. Okay, this can be the wick as long as it doesn't cross below this hour's no, this 15-minute open. Okay, I think we'll be short-term bullish to this level. Cool. Yep. Let's look at gold for a moment. I touched pretty nicely on this downward channel. So started from here, second touch, third touch, it broke above yesterday's thing New York, bullish on gold, and then we retested this. Okay. Um, still considered low vol. We're still looking for a bigger move to confirm that. Okay, but this is a breakout of a breakout. So this will be our last stand. Okay, if you're a buyer, this needs to be in. Okay, and we do not want to see it fall below this low here. 1-3, it should hit that 1-3 at this high here. So it's 3.28. Right? So the last down candle got swept up, and then this gives us an opportunity. 3.38 to 3.33, so 5 points for 15 points. Okay, from 3.9 all the way up to 5.2. Cool. Any other instruments that you guys want to look at? Otherwise, this is pretty straightforward. And add on to positions once these levels are broken, and the final target will be this area. Yeah, we can follow the timing, the oscillation. This is your stochastic RSI as well. So this was sometime in 2:30. This is 4 o'clock. So we're probably looking at another hour of coming down here and then up. Cool. If there is nothing that you guys want to look at anymore, okay, so I think today was pretty good. We look at euro dollar, we look at XAUUSD, right? DXY is something that we tend to look at when we trade your euro dollar because this will be probably the inverse. Okay, the inverse of your euro dollar. Okay, so right off the bat, kind of know what is happening here. Okay, double top with an ascending channel. Okay, so you probably want to see dollar break down to this level here, and then high volume session tries to. Okay, likewise, if we're looking to break below, Okay. All right. For those of you who are interested in the previous webinars, you can find them here, vantagemarkets.com/academy/live. And for those of you who are interested to join a Discord channel moving forward for this analysis, what we're going to try to do with this Discord channel is to pump in AI signals. So like same ones that we get from Gemini, right? You can do it yourself, or you can get this report on a daily basis. We're scanning through all possible symbols that we have data to, right? And then we pump those reports in here for you to get this sort of reports, like this infographic here. Oh shit, it's generating again. Okay. Where is that report? Okay, this is the report. So a report like this, an infographic, nice visuals with all the numbers and all the research done for you by AI. Okay, all of this are free right now because of how this companies, Gemini, OpenAI, they're offering all of these services for free, so you can get those reports for free as well. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can email or highlight the question to support@vantagemarkets.com here. We might be conducting live analysis in the New York session on the Discord. So if you're interested, feel free to join it. Otherwise, I'll still be around for, I think, 1 or 2 more webinars before we take a pause for the rest of the year. All right, with that, if there are no other questions, then all the best to creating the upcoming trading session. I'll see you guys again next week.